Today, I'm starting my first podcast. Yes, I'm starting a podcast where I'm going to interview people for case studies of how law of attraction has been impacting their life. What is their frequency that makes them happy, successful, rich? And the first guest I have today is the person who made me successful, someone who's already successful in her life when I met her, and she made me successful today. That's my wife, Indu. The reason I am interviewing her as the first guest is two reasons. Reason number one, I believe she's my lucky charm. She really has emotional frequencies, beliefs, actions that we can learn so much from. I'm not joking when I'm saying I have learned a lot from her because of which I'm successful in my life. I think you can also learn a lot from her. Whether you're a man or a woman, believe me, the frequencies that Indu has as a person is worth learning and practicing. Ready? Let's begin. Hey magicians, today we have a podcast with Indu Khatri, my wife, who went from a salary of only 800 rupees to today being a woman worth 100 crores. And I'm not just joking, she's a 100 crore lady today. And I'm here to tell you what's her story. Let's find out what is her frequency that made her go from 800 rupees to today 100 crores. Let's get to that. But before that, those of you who don't know us, and if you're meeting me for the first time today, my name is Mitesh Khatri. This is Indu Khatri, and we are law of attraction coaches, and we've been doing this for more than 20 years now. Welcome to this podcast where you're going to learn how you can also be successful just like Indu. Maybe you're starting right now in your life, in your career. Maybe you are about to start as a student. Maybe you've started 10 years ago. Doesn't matter. This podcast will help you learn a lot. Because if she can go from 800 rupees month salary to 100 crores valuation today, and it's not just valuation like other companies who are just in the name of valuation, she really has that kind of money today. But how did she become that successful? I'm here to decode her frequency, kind of a law of attraction case study of Indu Khatri. Ready? Ready, Indu ma'am?
Yes.
All right, let's begin. So first, let's start with where were you born?
Where was I born? I was born in Yavatmal.
Yavatmal,
It's a small village or town in Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. And where was your schooling? What kind of school was it?
Oh my God. I got schooling from all types of government schools.
Why government schools?
Because my dad was working for MSCB, which is a government electricity board. And he was always transferred in a very, very small area, which
Right.
is rural area.
Right.
He was in charge of rural. He's an engineer. He was in charge of rural. So I used to be, my dad used to be in a very small city. So a small village.
Village actually, not
हाँ,
even city.
City, forget city, town भी नहीं, a village. And so I have studied from all government schools. नीचे बैठ के सतरंजी डाल के blackboard, chalk,
Mm,
barely uniform. It was that kind of schooling I have done.
right.
All schooling.
And was it English medium as you were growing
No,
up?
no. It was all Marathi medium.
All Marathi medium.
Marathi medium, complete Marathi till 10th. All subjects in Marathi, including science.
So the Indu which is today and the Indu which is then, totally different or the same Indu?
No, very different.
Very different.
Other than the ambitious part, everything else is different.
So let's understand that when you were growing up in your school, as a family, what was the biggest challenge that you experienced? Something that we spoke about in Raj's podcast very minutely, but let's go through that. What was the challenging part in your family as you were growing up?
So, see, we were three siblings, me, my sister and brother. I'm
You're the eldest one.
I'm the eldest one. So my mother had a mental challenge, which was a challenging situation for everyone in the house.
Explain.
She used to get kind of attacks, which now I barely understand. I think it's a bipolar. I think now I can give the name, but then I did not have the name. So she used to get an attack. When she used to get the attack, she used to beat all three of us badly. Matlab,
Or she used to physically beat.
beat as in physically beat.
How old were you then?
I was
Your earliest memory of it?
my earliest memory of it, maybe I think I was 7 or 8,
Okay.
and 7
And
or
you were the eldest.
I must be 8 because Deepak was really small. That's the time she had locked us inside the house, and she had put some kerosene on Deepak, and she was going to burn him.
Oh.
And she was asking us to go out so that she can burn
So
him.
she can burn him.
So I did
And
not.
she was not doing this consciously. She was
No.
unconscious because she was in a mentally ill state.
Mentally.
Okay, so she didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah. So my neighbors, this happened quite a few times. My neighbors then broke open the window. Sometimes they broke open.
How
the
did they
roof.
come to know? Did you inform the neighbors?
We we made noise. So it's a small place, no? People come to know when they hear the noise. Then they used to, in this particular incident, what happened was they had a, what do you call that, मैंगलोरियन टाइल ऑन
हाँ
as a
मैंग्लोरियन
roof.
टाइल, हाँ वो जो
So,
लाल कलर की टाइल होती
लाल
है,
कलर की
correct.
टाइल होती है, उसको निकाल के they climbed the roof, they removed it, they jumped in the house and they rescued us.
And you were inside at that time,
We were inside. I and my brother and mom was inside.
and she was about to just
No, she did. Incidentally, she had not lit the fire,
matchbox.
but she had put the kerosene and she wanted to light the fire. And this happened many times. That she used to.
Many times, I didn't know this.
She used to lock us and beat us. And somebody कोई कभी कूद के आया, किसी ने दरवाजा तोड़ा, किसी ने lock तोड़ा.
Oh.
A lot of things happen.
So when you look at that situation today, how do you remember that memory? Do you remember it as hatred for mom or disappointment for dad? How do you emotionally remember that incident?
No, I don't remember as hatred for mom. In fact, me and Sapu really hold mom very close to her heart. For some reason कि I agree ये सब बहुत challenging दिखाई दे रहा है,
हाँ,
और था भी.
हाँ.
Then it was life threatening.
obviously.
But that has definitely given us a lot of what you call strength. We are super independent. मतलब आज की डेट में आप मेरे को, मेरी सिस्टर को, और दीपक है नहीं मगर दीपक को किसी भी सिचुएशन में डाल दो, हम बाहर आ जाएंगे.
Wow.
We knew how to handle it. We are not dependent. You know, I've gone through a divorce also. So I'm not like, I did not sit and cry about it or anything.
Right.
It was not like that
You
because
out of it.
my father knew that she can manage it. So there is a positive side of it, of course. So I don't have any hatred. In fact, I and Sappu big time say thank you to mom.
Wow.
Because we learned loads of things from her. Loads of things. Cooking से लेके घर कैसे हैंडल करना है, in-laws को कैसे हैंडल करना है, relationships कैसे maintain करना है, house helps को कैसे हैंडल करना है, किसको कैसे treat करना है. All those things we learned it from her.
But normally, Indu, ऐसा होता है कि a lot of people who are listening to this right now, they remember such memories as मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ था, there was a big trauma about it. And for the person who's listening, who's gone through that trauma, is really into trauma.
Yeah.
Like they are really into depression, के मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ, and they cry every time they remember that memory. They cry. You're talking about this memory in a way that there's no wound in the past.
There is no wound in the past for not only for me but for my sister as well as for my brother.
So there's no trauma about it.
There is no trauma. Even Papa doesn't have any trauma.
So why is that? Because it's so normal for anybody to be traumatic during this experience and say मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ था, इसलिए आज तक मैं ऐसा हूँ या ऐसी हूँ. आपके साथ ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा है?
ऐसा I feel.
Because even when I met you and we got into a relationship, you know, ऐसा होता है when we meet in a relationship, we tell each other दुखी stories of our past life to connect with each other. But आपने ऐसी कोई story नहीं सुनाई थी. Like even this story when you told me, you did share it, but it was not as a trauma. Why not? Why no trauma about it?
I think I feel the reason is maybe that time we had accepted the situation.
Okay.
And now I'm. I mean, I never. Honestly, this question nobody asked me ever. So I don't know.
That is why I'm doing our interview live.
Okay. So I don't know why there is no trauma. But there is no trauma even in my sister's mind, or it was not there for Deepak also, and it is not there for my father also.
Wow.
But yes, I think we all had accepted it. We all were like, this is how it is. And
कि मम्मी बीमार है.
हाँ, मम्मी बीमार है. She used to be in and out with mental hospital. कभी जा रहे, कभी आ रहे, रह रहे. फिर हम घर संभाल रहे. फिर मम्मी आ जाती, मम्मी घर संभालती. फिर हम संभालते. ऐसे ही चलता रहा. और हमको शायद आदत हो गई. किसी चीज की आदत हो जाती है.
8 to कितने साल तक मम्मी के साथ आप थे जब तक मम्मी मेंटल हॉस्पिटल आती जाती रहती थी?
Till the time she died.
Till the time she died.
Yeah, even when I came back from UK, I was in Pune.
Yeah, I remember when I met you. तभी भी मेंटल हॉस्पिटल साथ में लेके गए.
हाँ, हमको लेके जाना पड़ा था एक बार, याद है. So we've been. I mean, we had the situation. I think last maybe 2 years of her life, she did not go to mental hospital. So
the reason I wanted to do this interview with Indu for all of you, understand that the reason she's a 100 crore woman today, आज देख के ऐसा लगता है कि wow, she's got 100 crores. But I believe that money comes from that Lakshmi, that energy of money comes from not having wounds in the past. Yeah. See, she's not living in the past. आज वो जहाँ है, it's because of who she is, not because of what her surrounding is. Surrounding मिलना बहुत आसान है, but अगर अंदर की emotional frequency ठीक नहीं है, then you can destroy the surrounding. Absolutely. In her case, the surrounding was wrong, right? Everything was wrong about her surrounding. अगर देखा जाए तो, but because her frequency was right, she is where she is today.
In fact, all my relatives say that now they, especially they, I mean, they've been vocal about it. Surprisingly, quite a few. Some of my cousins, Mosi, Bua, and all, they say that हमको तो लगता था पता ही नहीं क्या होगा ये तीन बच्चों का. उनको लगता था पता नहीं तीनों बच्चे कुछ कर भी पाएंगे
क्योंकि मम्मी मेंटल हॉस्पिटल आ रही जा रही
थी तो they used to think कि नहीं कर पाएंगे कुछ, ये लोग जिंदगी में कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे करके. Now that
so environment में कोई था भी नहीं जो भरोसा कर रहा था आप पे.
कोई अब बिल्कुल
इनफैक्ट डाउट कर रहे थे कि पता नहीं ये लोग क्या करेंगे जिंदगी में,
कुछ करेंगे भी कि नहीं, ऐसा था उनका.
So I want to tell you from a law of attraction point of view why I think she has no trauma. I'll give you a perspective. Tell me if I'm right. Your father.
I never thought about it.
So the reason is because I think the more you told me about your dad, my father-in-law, during those days आपने मुझे एक बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी बताई थी that mom ने आपको अंदर लॉक किया, dad came, opened you up, और mom को मान लो dad के रहते एक trauma आया या attack आया, तो dad mom को चेयर पे बांध के रखते थे, है ना, हाथ बांध के रखते थे, आपने बताया था.
बहुत बार हुआ है.
और फिर मम्मी को जब तक वो अटैक जाता नहीं था मम्मी को बांध के रखते थे.
We used to give a pill.
अच्छा, मेडिसिन देते थे.
हाँ,
तो मेडिसिन का इफेक्ट होने के बाद कितना टाइम लगता था?
आधे घंटे में मेडिसिन का असर हो जाता था. She used to be all right. Then the moment dad used to think that she's become all right and
हाँ,
fine.
फिर डैड क्या करते थे वापस बताओ?
Then he used to untie her. Then he used to tell me, जाओ मुन्नू चाय बना के लेके आओ. Then I would make tea and then he would say, okay, चलो एक काम करते हैं, let's. Then he had to lighten up the environment because पूरा घर stress में आ गया था तभी तक ना. तो he used to then tell us कि okay चलो let's do one thing. मॉम को बोलते थे जाओ तैयार हो जाओ, तुमको वो एग्जीबिशन जाना था, कहीं तो जाना था, कुछ तो रहता ही था ना मम्मी का. तो बोलते थे चलो वहाँ जाके आते हैं. And then he used to take her, he used to go out.
So साड़ी वाड़ी पहनो, तैयार हो जाओ.
तैयार होके then she would go.
I think you said गजरा वजरा भी लगा के एकदम.
आके फिर आते समय कुछ फ्लावर्स ले आएंगे, फिर हमारे लिए कुछ खाने को ले आएंगे. And then तब तक हम लोग भी घर में थोड़ा सेटल हो जाते थे, कुछ खा पी लेते थे. And then
तो मम्मी को अकेले लेके जाते थे घुमाने के लिए. So listen, हाथ बांध के रखें, mentally ill, अटैक आया, बच्चों को मार रही है, गोली खिलाई, तबीयत ठीक हुई. She's getting ready and he's taking her out for a date in our language.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a date only.
Right?
Yeah.
So from my point of view, her father accepted her mother. And
hence we accepted, I think.
It was so easy.
Yeah,
it was so easy because the role model was mom and dad.
Yeah.
And dad had no wounds. And really, like if you meet my father-in-law today and you talk about this story, he has no wounds about it. He has no trauma about it.
I don't think he ever mentioned it also to you.
There is no conversation about it. But even if you do, he has no trauma.
No.
And because he lived so peacefully about it, because he had accepted that's how my wife is. So he would make the best out of that situation in whatever way he could those days. And looking at him, there was no trauma for her.
Yeah. For me as well as
what
for
do you
my
think?
siblings.
Is my analysis correct?
I think your analysis is correct. I think that's the reason.
Because children are a reflection of parents.
Reflection of parents. And so many people told dad that divorce your wife, get married. Because he's a handsome guy with engineering degree and all, in a government job. So many people used to say, especially relatives, ki छोड़ देते हैं फिर. But he's like, नहीं, मेरे बच्चों का क्या होगा?
So what would you tell those people who are listening to you, who've gone through these similar situations, may not be the same, but they've gone through a lot of bad experiences in their past? What would you tell them if they want to become as successful as you today, learning from this experience?
I think, that's the biggest thing which you also teach is that nothing is curse, everything is blessing.
Wow.
So we need to look at it that way. That if today, if you see, I give success ka credit. Why I am successful, why I am so independent, why I am so responsible. All this comes why I have this to-do list and everything
systematic
is
the way you are.
Systematic, organized. All these things are possible only because I have had that experience. If I would have had a pampered childhood, maybe I wouldn't have been where I am today.
By the way, she's a very careful person. इनसे गलतियां बहुत कम होती है. And I think probably because those days you had to be so careful.
Exactly.
That became a blessing for you today.
That became a blessing. So I would suggest that if somebody is going through it right now, then look at it like a blessing. Because आज नहीं लगेगा. Definitely आज तो बहुत tension है. But after maybe a couple of months, after maybe a year, you'll realize that experience taught you a lot of things. Yeah. Made you so strong today. Today morning we were talking about it, that there is one platinum member of ours. She witnessed her husband dying in a train.
While the journey was going on.
While the journey was going on. They were traveling to, I think, Vaishno Devi, and रास्ते में train में he just got a cardiac arrest and he passed away. if you look at it, it is really a painful situation. But today, that lady is so strong. My
Yeah,
God.
she was a facilitator today morning.
She was doing such a brilliant job. She was like amazing. Every time I see her, I feel that, my God, matlab, hats off to her.
Yeah, if you're listening, Apurva, proud of you.
Yeah, Apurva, seriously, I've got tears again, but I'm really proud of you, Apurva.
Chalo, so fast forward that situation from mom and dad, whatever happened. Emotionally, obviously, अगर frequency की बात किया जाए तो it made you stronger.
It did.
And your belief frequency की अगर बात करें तो you believe that now you can handle any situation.
I do.
Correct?
Yeah.
So those of you who are
My
listening,
family also believes that.
and their family also believes that, right? So if you're watching this and if you're going through anything like this in your life right now, please remember nothing is a curse, everything is a
blessing.
Beautiful. Let's move forward from there to the time when you left home and you went out of town for education. How easy was that decision?
So I went to Amravati first. That's where I did my higher secondary, which is 11th and 12th.
Okay.
Then from there I went to hostel in Nagpur, where I did my engineering. So it was difficult. It was very difficult because I was coming from a lower middle class family in a way, because dad ka sara paisa mom ke treatment mein chala jata tha. So there was a very, very low standard of living was there.
Correct.
And English nahi aati thi. Then it was a big deal. English.
Yes.
Abhi to confidence hai, theek hai, Hindi mein baat kar lenge. Then it was not there. Then
Yes.
I used to look down. Class mein aisa hota tha, there was so many times. I was a topper in 10th. So when I went to 11th standard, I knew the answers. But I couldn't translate that in English.
Because you couldn't speak English.
I couldn't speak English. So I couldn't give any answers. And the topper who was prompt in 10th.
So writing, you could do everything in exams.
No, that also in English was difficult for me. It was very
so
difficult.
until 10th was like Marathi.
Complete
Achha, but
Marathi.
11th, 12th was in English.
English.
Oh, now I understand.
It was a huge shift, and I didn't know how to give answer. I knew the answers. Whenever the teachers used to, I knew the answer, but I didn't know how to speak in English. I couldn't answer.
So how did you handle that? Did that create any complex?
Yeah, it did. It did. I definitely got a lot of inferiority complex, and as a result, then when my any kid used to born in the family, I used to say, "नहीं, पहले उसको English medium में डालो, बाकी कुछ करो ना करो, English medium में डालो."
Okay.
So then that did happen. Then I started reading newspaper. Somebody told me read newspaper.
How did you overcome this?
By reading newspapers.
Okay.
Reading newspaper, reading books.
How much time did it take for you to come to a point where you felt comfortable around people speaking English?
Quite a few years. I think after engineering also, I think after I went to UK. When I went to UK in 97.
She went directly to UK. Okay. How many years you were there?
In UK, I was there for around 8 years. 7 years plus few months.
So let's come back to India.
Yeah.
Before UK. You got into a relationship in college at a very early age, right?
I did.
So when you say relationship, like proper boyfriend.
Proper boyfriend. Yes.
It was not like time pass nahi tha.
No, time pass nahi
Right?
tha.
You were madly in love with this guy.
Then time pass nahi hota tha.
अच्छा हाँ, then time pass नहीं होता.
Then time pass nahi hota tha.
नहीं, हम करते थे, लड़के करते थे.
Then it was a serious relationship. Yes, I got into a relationship. I was in that relationship.
What age?
I was 17.
Okay.
And so was he. And then I was in that relationship for 10 years.
Wow. So till about 27, you were with him. So when you say you were with him, what do you mean by that?
It was a long distance relationship. He was in Amravati. I was wherever. Sometimes I was in Nagpur. Then I came to Pune. Then I went to UK. So this went on for 10 years. Then I got married briefly with him. And
registered marriage.
I did marriage. 15 din. My marriage lasted for 15 days.
So when you say 15 days, we'll come back to the marriage point, because there's a connecting story here which I want you to know. So you and this guy were in Pune, right? When you were doing a job in Pune?
Yeah, I was.
Was that your first job?
No, that was not my first.
That was not your first job.
My first job was in 93 in Nagpur only.
How much was your first salary?
800 rupees.
And what was your role?
Software developer kind of.
Okay.
Programmer.
Programmer.
Programmer was my role.
Okay. So this was what age your first job?
My first job 93, that is 21 years old.
And your first salary was 800 rupees.
800.
How did you feel about 800 rupees?
I was happy.
You were happy. But weren't there your friends who probably got a better salary in different cities?
No, I did not have friends that way, but I did have one friend. She was in a government school as a teacher. Then she was drawing 10,000 rupees salary. And I was drawing 800 rupees salary.
Then 10,000 was a big deal. And you were drawing 800 rupees. How did you feel about that when you remembered that?
So
in those days?
I used to definitely then used to feel कि यार मैंने engineering किया है और इसने सिर्फ 10th किया है.
Right.
But then I came back and I told this to Papa. So Papa said कि in long run beta your degree will come handy to you. Wait, right now you are saying this, but थोड़े दिन रुको, promotions होंगे, सब होगा, अपने आप काम आएगा. And when you go back to her now, I think her current salary is some 1 lakh rupees a month.
And we all know where you are.
And
Okay. But not to compare her salary with you today. My question is then, when you spoke to your dad, how did dad make you feel about your salary?
So dad was very happy.
Huh.
Because he was saying ki focus on the experience. So not only dad, there was one more person. I had joined him first as a as a executive. But it was a sales job. And I mean, थोड़ी सी बिगड़ी हुई मैं पहले से हूँ. So Nagpur is very hot. So I was getting tan. So I went and I told him I can't do this job because I'm getting tan. So he's like, okay. So I resigned. So after I resigned, I joined this data management center.
Right.
So when I joined, I had 2 offers with me. One offer of 800
rupees.
And the other offer of 2,500 rupees.
Oh.
For a public limited company, I will not give name.
Right.
But then I called this person whom I told कि मैं tan हो रही हूँ, मैं job छोड़ के जाती हूँ. He was a very good gentleman, business owner. He gave me a very good advice, and I'm still Bendre sir, if you're listening, thank you so much. I have called you and said thank you, but I'm saying thank you to you again. So he told me very clearly. He said, if you want to learn better and you want to grow, then this 800 rupees salary, don't look at the salary. You anyways don't have problem with money, so don't look at the salary. Go learn. This office will give you a lot of experience, which will come handy to you. If you join this 2,500, it will not give you any experience because it was an application-based program where you learn very limited. So I took his advice and I joined data management. And data management center work was like crazy, huge work. But he was so right because I worked there for 2.5 years. And when I came and gave interview for MBT in Pune, I was impressed with my interview myself.
Because you did such a great job.
I was like, I came out and I told my friends, I don't know about the result, but I'm very happy with my
because you had skilled yourself so much in the last 2 years in that company.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then I called Bendre sir and I said, thank you so much. And today I understood what you said that day. But good thing about me, and I'm proud of myself, is that I took his advice then and I went ahead with that job instead of going for this other job which had higher salary.
So the advice was focus on your experience and skills and work right now, and not how much money you make today, so that you can make more money in the future if you become really good at what you do first, right?
Yeah.
So if you're watching this right now, please understand, she's where she is today. A lot of people always look at people's current success.
Yes.
But what they don't look at is, where is this success built from? Her mom's incident made her stronger, not worse. There is no trauma there. The second incident over here is all about, she's focusing on the experience, not the 800 rupees. And then the way she worked in those 2 years in that 800 rupees, she respected that money. Am I right?
Yeah, a lot.
You felt good about it.
Yeah.
You didn't disrespect that money. No. Why am I making only so much?
No, I used to spend a lot from there. Loads of samosa chai party.
See, enjoying that 800 rupees also. So you got a job in Pune after that. And by then you had this boyfriend of yours, right?
Yeah. So Pune has a small story. So I came to Pune. Papa said, okay, you can go.
This was the new job, MBT?
No, I did not get MBT then.
Okay.
I came to Pune without any job.
Okay.
And Papa said, okay, you go try for 6 months. If you get it, fine. I can't really support financially to Pune. I said, no problem. I have saved some money. I'll go with that saving. That was a deal between me and Papa.
Okay.
I'll go, I'll wait. If I find the job, I'll stay. If I don't, I'll come back. So I had a two-wheeler in Nagpur. I did not bring my two-wheeler also. With the condition कि 6 महीना देखते हैं, उसके बाद मैं आपको बोलूँगी तो आप मेरी two-wheeler भेजना, नहीं तो मत भेजना. So he said okay for it, and I came here with 13,000 rupees.
Wow. You saved this in 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
So then we went, that time my boyfriend was here, ex-boyfriend was here. So I went, I started looking out for job. And that time I got jobs literally like half day in the morning and half day in the evening. Right. So I did a job which is morning 2 hours in.
So it's like 2 jobs?
2 jobs.
Okay.
Couple of hours in the morning, couple of hours in the evening somewhere. In some call center नहीं बोल सकते, वो computer center ही होते थे, जहाँ पे कहीं सिखाना होता था, कहीं पे कुछ. So like this I did.
For how long?
6 months.
6 months. Okay.
So I used to make around 3,500 rupees
Okay.
between these two jobs. Then I also picked up one job which is very close to our house now, which is in Ranjangaon.
Okay.
There I worked for 2 months. But there, the moment I joined there, within 1 week I got MBT.
Wow. So in Pune, you were with your boyfriend,
Huh.
and then you got married to him.
Then I went to UK.
Hmm.
Then I stayed there. Then I realized that he was done with all his this
Hmm.
thing. So there were a lot of my colleagues who had got their spouses, and their spouses got the job in UK.
Right.
So everybody is like, तू क्यों उससे रोज फोन करती है, लड़ाई करती है, वो लड़ता है, तू उसको लेके आ जा
Right.
डिपेंडेंट वीजा पे. बट डिपेंडेंट वीजा तो शादी करके मिलेगा. So we said, okay,
Oh,
let's
so
get
that was a
married.
good reason to get married. So you came back.
I came back within
You got
6
married.
months. I had to pay for my own tickets and all, because as per then MBT rules, once in a year only you get tickets. So I paid for my
Correct.
tickets. I came back. I got married. I went back. Then
You took him with you.
No, I did not take him. He had to process his visa.
Okay.
He processed his visa and he came. And then after he came there, he was not behaving himself.
Hmm.
He got physical with me, and I was not very okay with it.
Hmm.
So, in a very dramatic way, I kind of sent him back.
So this was how long a relationship?
So the
10 years, you
relationship was for 10 years.
10 years.
The marriage was for 15 days.
So this is where we connected back. You remember I said we'll come back to the 15 days marriage conversation.
Yeah.
So 15 days was the marriage. You went to UK. He was not in a very appropriate behavior with you, and you sent him back.
Yeah. So I sent him back. I manipulated and sent him back.
Okay. And when you sent him back, what do you mean by that?
So what happened was his visa was not processed properly. I don't know what he did in his visa. He, instead of getting a dependent visa, he had got a tourist visa.
Okay.
So in tourist visa in UK you cannot work. So then I knew that वो घर आके घर पे बैठने वाला है, कुछ नहीं करने वाला है. And so and anyways he was here also in Pune. He was dependent on me completely. Right. He was not doing anything himself. So then I got really angry at him, वगैरह वगैरह. But then we had fight and all when he reached there. So what I did is, when he got physical with me, I realized that I made a mistake by marrying him. So I told him, let's go back to India. Let me resign from here. Let's go back to India. I will find a job in India.
Okay.
So he said, no, let's not do that. I said, see, you can't find a job on tourist visa. मैं तेरे को यहाँ रखूँगी, रोज अपनी लड़ाइयाँ होगी, कोई point नहीं है. And he was over possessive about me. And so then he said, नहीं ऐसा नहीं करते. Let's do it other way around. I think I goofed up in the visa. So I'll do one thing. I go back. I process the dependent visa and come back.
And I come back for the job.
I said, that's a very good plan.
Mm.
So I took my friends, supported me with this decision. So he came to UK on Saturday.
Mm.
I sent him back on Thursday.
So 10 साल का relationship आपने, in 2 weeks you sent him back, and you were clear that now you will not get him back in your life. What made you make that bigger decision of divorce?
Okay, so there is a small history. So what happened was, for 10 years, before 9 years, let's say, it was a long distance relationship.
Right.
So in long distance relationship, I meet only for 15 days में एक बार 2 घंटे के लिए.
You don't really get to know the person.
You don't really. When I came to Pune and I started staying, not really with him, but very close to him, in close proximity, I kind of started knowing him.
Right.
And I kind of realized that he's not the person for me. And we used to fight a lot. But then since I had committed to him that I will marry, I kind of stood by my commitment.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, शादी हो जाएगी तो ये possessive जो over possessive होके बैठा है वो कम हो जाएगा मुझे लगा. But when he came there and he came on a tourist visa, he on the day one itself he hit me. So for me there are some things big no.
Okay.
So when he hit me first time, I thought it was a bad decision. Then I realized तब तक कि मुझे वैसे ही लग रहा था कि बहुत लड़ते हैं. मतलब यहाँ तक था कि 6 months when I was there in UK, my flatmate used to always tell me कि इंदु, are you sure तुझे इससे शादी करनी है? तू जब उससे बात करती है तब लड़ती है रोती है, तुझे क्यों शादी करनी है?
Right.
But I still went ahead because I had committed.
Right.
But then when he came to UK and he hit me first time, I thought it was a wrong decision.
So once you realized that, in your mind
and
you were clear.
And then he hit me second day again in the morning and then in the evening. Then in the evening when he hit me, incidentally I had dialed my friend and my friend came and she took me to her place.
So once you realized your decision was wrong, you were okay to act on being wrong.
Yeah, there I did not have a choice honestly, because one, I was away from family. I was in some other country.
No, you could have stayed there like many other women, like a victim.
Oh, that's not
allowed
me.
him to be. That's what my question is. That because a lot of people who are watching this right now remain in that victimhood for a long time. कि मैं क्या करूं? मेरी तो life ऐसी है. You didn't remain that.
No, that's not.
Once you realized you were wrong, you took that responsibility and you sent him back.
Yeah.
What gave you that strength to take responsibility instead of continuing to be stuck in that relationship?
See, I'm a very strong lady. I say it also very nicely. I'm a very strong lady. That's not me. मतलब वो मुझे सूझा भी नहीं कि मैं उसी में रह सकती हूँ करके. मैंने जब पापा को भी कॉल किया और पापा को बोला ऐसे ऐसे हो गया है and I'm sending him back and this is the action I'm taking. In a very Hindi filmy style, we had to pack him and send him. So पापा also said, yeah, रिक्शा वाले का घर थोड़ी है जो हाथ पैर चलाने हैं उसको.
Beautiful.
हाथ पैर क्यों चलाने? वैसे ही तेरे ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है, वो क्यों हाथ पैर चला रहा है?
So watch the belief frequency here. I am strong. There are some things I will accept and there are some things I will not accept in my life. फिर उसके बाद में कोई भी हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. This relationship is not acceptable to me.
Absolutely.
It's very important for you to stand by yourself and have that kind of love for yourself and have that kind of respect for yourself. Ke I come first, and I think that's what you did. You prioritized yourself.
I prioritized myself.
You didn't prioritize the marriage here and
No.
you here. You were here, and the marriage was here.
Yes.
And once the marriage deprioritized you, you deprioritized marriage, and you said, "नहीं, फिर marriage, फिर शादी नहीं चाहिए."
फिर शादी
Right?
नहीं चाहिए.
This is something very important to learn. That I believe Indu is successful, and she made me successful being with her is because she prioritized herself, and she taught me to prioritize myself. I'll probably talk about it some other day when I talk about my own life story. But she truly learn to respect herself, to prioritize herself, and to make sure that she will not allow people to treat her below a certain point. Am I right?
Yes.
And whose responsibility would you say is that?
So in my house, it is very clear. Everybody takes their own responsibility. I did not call my dad and say कि आपने नहीं बोला या कुछ. In fact, उन्होंने ही बोला. पहले बता देती इतनी लड़ाई हो रही है, मैं शादी नहीं करा था. So nobody blames anybody.
So your self-respect is in your hands. It was not about your husband. It was not about your father.
No.
It was about you and your decision.
It's about me. And my dad also stood by my decision. Perfect. I did not ask. I told.
And the reason to come back to India was?
My mom was detected by cancer.
Okay.
Cervical cancer.
Okay. And once you came back, what did you do then?
So once I came back, there are a lot of things I did. Of course, I was just before that I had bought a house in India. So I took possession of that house. Then I got mom here. I thought I'll treat her with chemotherapy. But after one chemotherapy, she was very clear. She said, "Let me die. I don't want to go through it." She was.
Mom said that.
Mom said that. She was pretty clear. She said, "मुझे नहीं कराना है." एक chemotherapy करने के बाद, she got really trouble. And she said, मुझे नहीं करना.
How did you react to that?
I was angry, of course, but then Papa was like, नहीं करना है उनको, तो मत करने दो. वैसे भी we knew that it was a 4th stage cancer, and she was getting really trouble. So she literally like this. She did to both of us, and she said, "Let me die. I don't want to go through this." So then Papa बोले कि ठीक है. Then,
so your anger subsided, or were you continued to being angry with mom?
No, I was not angry. She was already troubled. Why will I be angry? She was troubled. That's the time I met you also.
How did we meet?
How did we meet? So then before going to UK, I had attended his Dr. Sudhir Arora's class. I wanted to go and attend that. So I joined that. When I came to India, I settled, mom ka sab settle ho gaya, so I decided I'll go and join. So I went and registered. And then I think I registered in the month of March.
Right.
And in the month of April, I met you.
Correct. And one of the reasons you met me because you were already in a way unconsciously manifesting a relationship. I remember you told me something about it. Can you share?
I was told by a couple of my friends that in Dr. Arora's class generally pair up हो जाते हैं लोग. ऐसा उन्होंने बोला था, तो दिमाग में शायद था मेरे कहीं पे. And second thing, of course, was my friends that time were all getting engaged. The friend with whom I was sharing my apartment, he also got engaged. So I thought everybody's getting engaged. So I was open. Honestly, there was nothing else other than being open. So when you approached and asked me out, I said, "Oh, हाँ चलो." मैंने पापा से पूछा, पापा बोले, "हाँ वैसे भी तेरी कोई दोस्त नहीं है यहाँ पे, जा." So I went out with you.
So this is important. Understand that her mother was going through cancer. She had already got a divorce and she had gone through another breakup just before she had come back to India. But she was still open to a relationship. So she was not living in a trauma. I want to highlight that again. So when you were talking about being open with me, were you living in a trauma के
नहीं नहीं
मैं बेचारी मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ?
नहीं मैंने तो ये भी कभी नहीं बोला कि मुझे आज के बाद में रिलेशनशिप में नहीं जाना है.
अच्छा, ये नहीं बोला.
I don't remember saying that ever. The other day only I was sharing it with a friend of mine that I never mentioned this. That I went through a divorce, then I went through a breakup, so I will not have a relationship.
It was okay that you went through that.
I thought
normal life.
Normal life.
Beautiful. Do you see that? कभी-कभी हम अपनी negative experiences को कुछ ज़्यादा importance दे देते हैं.
हाँ.
Right? And for you it was like just a part of life. It happened. Yeah. And you moved over it and you were now open to a new relationship.
Yes.
At a time when mom was going through cancer.
Yes.
So ऐसा नहीं था कि नहीं right now my priority is mom.
नहीं
अभी मुझे ये सब नहीं
she
सोचना
was
है.
going through it. She was there with me. I was doing whatever was possible for me to do.
Right.
And she was anyways not ready to stay with me all the time. So she was going around, कभी मम्मी यहाँ जा रही वहाँ जा रही कर रही थी.
So did mom's health and that condition impact your career, your work, your productivity?
Mom's condition, no.
Okay. So again, observe holistic success. Mom की situation खराब थी. देखा जाए तो she had all the reason to let everything go down. But she was open to a new relationship. She was taking care of her health, if I'm not wrong, because I know when I met you, you used to take care of your health. You still do. And in spite of that, work was great. I know when I met her, you were still the best in your office.
I had actually got, a project from UK because I was working on a project. So when I came back, I had committed to my manager that I will continue to work on this project from India. So I continued. That was a big project.
But not just you continued, you were really good at it.
Yeah,
you didn't let your personal life impact your professional life.
Not at all.
Right? Perfect. So ask yourself, are you doing that? Are you balancing your HRCM to make sure that you don't let a setback like somebody in the family going through cancer or your past breakup not impacting being open to a new relationship, not impacting your productivity at work and really living your life in a balanced way? I think one of the things I really learned from Indu is that balance. And if you had to take away something from here, I know I started this video saying how she became a 100 crore lady, and you have. But I think what makes her that 100 crore lady is that balance even at 800 rupees. You can't suddenly become balanced at 100. You were balanced since then.
Yeah.
And that's why all these incidences are important. Why I always say that crisis and opportunities don't give you your emotions. It only multiplies and reveals your actual emotional pattern. So if you see your mom's situation was crisis.
Yes.
Your job was an opportunity.
Yes.
Your marriage was an opportunity and yet the divorce was a crisis.
Yes.
You came back to India, mom's cancer was a
challenge.
Kind of a challenge. And then we met, that was an opportunity.
Yes.
The project was an opportunity. But in either of these situations, your existing emotional pattern only got multiplied.
Yes.
Your strength.
Yes.
Your balance.
Strong. Yes.
Right? Yes, of course. It was
cried.
You cried.
Course, yeah.
But you took responsibility and kept growing as a person. Okay, yes. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? Right?
Yeah.
See? So ask yourself, are you doing that? Are you upgrading yourself instead of just simply feeling bad about yourself? I think that's one thing you don't do. You don't feel bad about yourself for too long.
No, I don't, because I'm not a pity party person.
Pity party. I like that.
In fact, I say it to my platinum members all the time. Get out of pity party.
Awesome. So we met, and when we met, I remember you were making about 1.25 lakhs a month at that time. Big amount that time, right? What year was that? 2003. How many years is that?
21.
21 years. So 21 साल हो गए हमको मिलके. And at that time, I was making zero. But when I proposed you still said yes for the relationship.
Yeah.
Many people in your position would say, I am not going to get into a relationship where there is a guy who's making zero income right now.
Yeah.
What made you have that guts to say yes to a guy who's making zero while you were making such good money and you've just come back from UK, you have your own house, I have nothing. What gave you the guts to say yes to me?
So there were 2-3 things. Of course, one was you are a very nice person. Then also I fell for that. So that is one thing. Second, I was confident. ठीक है, ये नहीं करेगा तो कोई बात नहीं, मैं तो कमा ही रही हूँ. And that was good enough for us to run the house, which was, I think, 1.5 lakh rupees a month was 18 lakh का package था मेरा. I thought it was good. We had a flat, we had car, we were like, wow. आराम से चलेगा.
My money is enough for both of us. So one of the things which I really want people to learn from her is, a lot of people talk about being women, but she never even saw herself as that category. Like, it was not like मैं लड़की हूँ तो पैसा वो कमाएगा, मैं क्यों कमाऊँ.
मुझे तो अभी भी समझ नहीं
I think that conversation never existed for you.
अभी भी
That
नहीं
I'm a
समझ-
woman and all that. It's just
90
I work because I work.
yeah 93 onwards after I finished my engineering 93 में. After that I have never taken money from my dad.
So you were always an independent lady, and you are, and that's what I'm trying to communicate to you. That for her self-esteem, it's very important that she was her own person. My success had nothing to do with her life overall. Am I right?
Yes.
Like whether I succeed or not had nothing to do with you.
No.
Your
In
life
fact,
was your
Sahil
life.
had asked me that.
Sahil is our spiritual guru, by the way.
Sahil, our spiritual guru, did ask me that ये नहीं कमाएगा तो because he has a history where he may not make money, he may not do anything because he was also undergrad then, and so he said he may not work, he may not make money. Are you okay with that? I said, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm ready.
And I remember your family, your friends, everybody warned you.
Everybody.
That I'm a red flag. Like, don't get along with this guy. So, what made you stick to that decision? Because, see, one thing is your own independence. But when so many people are saying don't, your brother is saying no, your parents are saying no, your friends are saying no, what made you stand against all those people?
So I've always taken my own decisions, Mitesh. When it came to engineering or taking a science or marrying my ex-husband or you. So I have always taken my decision. So my dad just told me one thing that देख तेरा decision है. वो भी तेरा decision था, ये भी तेरा decision है. ये भी बात होती है वो breakup हुआ, तूने हमको परेशान नहीं किया. ये भी कुछ होगा, तू संभाल लेगी. So it has always been my decision, and I was getting that comfort feeling from you. So I was looking at a person, not a degree, because earlier one was engineer, right? So I was not looking at a degree or a prospect,
or
income. I was looking at a person. I thought इंसान अच्छा है, मेरे लिए काफी है.
So there are two beautiful things to learn here. One is she takes responsibility for her decision. She's not getting influenced by people around her because she has her own decision making understanding. And she's like, मुझे पता है मुझे क्या करना है, right? It's not easy to convince her, by the way. इसको कुछ नया भी मुझे खिलाना मुझे 2 साल लग जाते हैं convince करने में. Because she's very clear about her decisions. That's the advantage she has. And I think the second important thing is when she was choosing me as her life partner, I think she chose the person, not the success or the material part of it. Because of which I feel that she helped me grow, right? Instead of using me to be special, I think she was already special and she made me special just being with her. But that's because she believed she is special and she didn't use me as a way to be successful. She was already successful in her own way. And I think that's the way you are still now. You don't consider my success as your success. You're still an independent lady with your own success.
I am.
Right?
I work. I know my role. I know my responsibilities. I know what I do, what I don't do. I don't even have to ask anybody, prove anybody or anything. That
is why she's able to choose a person. But we are not able to choose a person when we feel we need their success. See, understand that. She doesn't need my success. That's what I'm trying to highlight to you.
Cling nahi karna.
She doesn't need to cling to me. With me, without me, she's still the same person. So now she has the liberty, what can I say, privilege to truly choose love for love, not for the money, not for the success. And that freedom when you have, obviously you're going to vibrate at the frequency of love. So that is just going to grow again, right? So fast forward, we got married. First year I didn't make much money.
2007.
Right? तब तक तो मैंने कुछ पैसे कमाए नहीं. And then eventually I started practicing manifestation with you, law of attraction with you. I got my first job with law of attraction, by the way. And then we started growing from there and I started doing corporate training. Come back to that point where I had you leave the job then.
So in 2007, I was really troubled. I had a US client and I was really, really troubled. Then you used to say कि छोड़ दे, छोड़ दे, छोड़ दे. I used to say नहीं छोड़ सकती because जिम्मेदारी है, this, that. So we had a deal. The day you make more than my salary, I will leave. And I was supporting you by then in the business.
She was supporting me in the business the whole way.
Whole way. Starting with teaching you Excel sheet से लेके सब कुछ mail बनाना Excel sheet. Correct. You were using my laptop, remember? Yes. So we were doing that. So you agreed for my contract that okay, the day you make more than my salary, I will resign. You did in the month of July, 2007. So then
I think I made double than your salary that time. Was it 3 at that time?
No, it was 2.7.
2.7 lakhs.
And mine was 2.25.
So she was about 2.25. I was at about 2.7 lakhs at that time.
So then I resigned, and then we started working together.
So just to clarify, तब हमारा इंदु का घर का होम लोन चल रहा था, okay? और इंदु ने बोला जब होम लोन क्लियर हो जाएगा फिर रिजाइन करूंगी.
हाँ.
बट एक बार इसने बोल दिया मैं रिजाइन करने को तैयार हूँ, फिर तो मैंने इसी की जान खानी शुरू कर दी. एंड देन इन 2 months we made her resign.
जान खानी मतलब लिटरली जान खानी शुरू कर दी थी. Then I resigned and then we started working together.
So then when you started as an entrepreneur, as a employee, you've left your monthly salary and you've got into the entrepreneurial world with me. How was your experience as an entrepreneur the first 2-3 months, 6 months?
So it was painful. It was
Why?
definitely.
How was it painful?
एक तारीख को अकाउंट में पैसे आने का आदत हो जाता है ना सैलरी वालों को,
Correct.
स्पेशली 17 साल का आदत रहता है.
Correct.
So it is difficult. It was very painful. I used to think, I used to get stressed, I used to get worked up कि आएगा नहीं आएगा, because every day was like corporate training was like we were not doing selling. You remember?
Correct.
We were just manifesting.
हम मैनिफेस्टेशन से कॉर्पोरेट ट्रेनिंग का क्लाइंट अट्रैक्ट करते थे.
क्लाइंट अट्रैक्ट करते थे. तो कभी आ रहा है कभी नहीं आ रहा है. तो बहुत बार ऐसा होता था कि 15 तारीख तक के हमारे पास कोई डेट्स नहीं बुक होते थे. Then, because then he was not this famous ना. So 15 तारीख तक के डेट्स नहीं बुक होते थे.
कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुई,
कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं
हुई,
तो गारंटी नहीं होती थी. फिर अगले महीने का EMI जाना है वगैरह वगैरह. So there used to be lot of stress, there used to be lot of argument, lot of fight. But then
फाइट तो नहीं किया अपन ने वैसे कोई ज्यादा, बट आर्गुमेंट होता था कि क्या करेंगे अभी.
हाँ क्या करेंगे. But then I realized that this is the way business works. It has uncertainty, it has ups and downs, and you have to be okay with it and manage expenses accordingly. Then I got into the habit of managing money and expenses according to the business income, which is fluctuating. So managing fluctuations. And then later, obviously, then things started moving, and I don't know when I actually got into the business so much that I really don't remember the transition at all. I just
and I think the biggest reason of your transition was when you accepted the uncertainties of business as part of life.
It is part of life. Yeah.
Right. So those of you who are listening, please understand that a lot of people dream to do what she's doing, which is getting out of a job and starting your own business, doing your own thing with your partner, maybe on your own. But when you do that, learn to pay that cost of the uncertainties of it along with it. And then while you're doing that, apply the lesson that she spoke about earlier, which is the responsibility part of it.
Yeah.
I think you continue teaching me that whenever we didn't do business, let's look what did we not do.
What did we not do?
Right? Like abhi bhi kabhi business kam hota hai, to you're like, kya frequency galat hui?
Kahan galat?
Let's upgrade our frequency again. Yeah. Let's do the affirmations again. And because of that, our income just started growing. So at that time, I remember I used to tell you, we were making about 3 lakhs a month at that time. And I used to tell you, okay, a day will come where we will make 1 lakh in a day. एक दिन का 1 लाख कमाएंगे. What was your reaction that time?
पागल है तू.
And how much time did it take for us to reach there, I think?
We did very fast. Then we started increasing our this thing. We added some new skills in our corporate training, and then we started increasing our budget. We started quoting 50,000, then 75,000, then 1 lakh rupees a day, then 2.5, then 5 lakh rupees a day.
And now we charge about 5 lakh rupees a day in the corporate trainings. And then fast forward from 800 rupees a month to 1.25 lakh rupees monthly salary, resigning and now getting into whatever 5 lakh rupees a day is corporate training. Then we stopped corporate training and got into B2C. What was your reaction the first time I told you मुझे law of attraction online लोगों को B2C सिखाना है, when we were making at that time 2.5 lakh rupees per day. और मैंने आपको बोला मुझे कोर्स लॉन्च करना है ऑनलाइन लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन पे, तो 8,000 रुपए का एडवांस लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन हम लोगों ने लॉन्च करने की जब मैंने बात की, व्हाट वाज योर रिएक्शन एट दैट टाइम?
सो ऑनेस्टली उसके पहले हमने 2-3 बार B2C ट्राई कर चुके थे. सो आई वाज नॉट श्योर अबाउट इट कि कैसे होगा क्या होगा. एंड आई ऑल्सो डिड नॉट नो कि कोविड इतना चलेगा. मुझे लगा 1 महीने बाद हो जाएगा, ठीक है. तो ही वांटेड टू डू इट. आई सेड ठीक है, बट आई टोल्ड हिम आई विल नॉट डू इट, यू डू इट योरसेल्फ. ऐसे बोल के वी स्टार्टेड. And we started, and then we realized that COVID is getting extended, and then we were also getting involved. And वैसे ही करने को कुछ था नहीं घर पे, तो हम सेटअप करने लगे, इन्वॉल्व होने लग गई मैं बिजनेस में. और अगेन मुझे पता ही नहीं चला मैं कब इतनी इन्वॉल्व हो गई. And then we started doing this so beautifully.
So now, what is the last month income that you hit?
10
crore. She told her father that day. So he worked in MSCV as an engineer. As a government employee, so he came home that day and she told him the monthly income for last month. क्या reaction था dad का?
That is it.
He asked me twice. थोड़ा ज़्यादा नहीं हो गया? It was a very cute reaction.
So for dad, it is. I'll share one experience. When MBT happened, before MBT, I was making some 1,500 in the morning and 1,500 in the evening, right? So total 3,000 रुपए. He was fine तब तक है. उनका salary when MBT happened, his salary was 10,000 rupees a month.
Right.
MBT offered me 10,700 rupees a month.
Wow.
And so when that happened, I called my dad. My dad really thought कि कुछ गलत काम कराने वाले हैं लोग.
Because your income was exceeding his income.
He just couldn't
believe it.
कि 3 साल का बच्चों सा एक्सपीरियंस लेके लड़की 10,700 कमाएगी और मैं इतना 20 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ 10,000 कमा रहा हूँ. So he literally made me fax my entire offer letter to him.
Wow.
He read the.
Because he couldn't believe it.
He just couldn't. He told me not to sign anything. He read the entire.
अभी इस बार तो ऑफर लेटर था नहीं 10 करोड़ का.
Offer letter, and then he told me, हाँ मुन्नू ठीक है तू साइन कर सकती है. I don't know whether he remembers this now.
So अभी तक का total I think you crossed about 100 crores.
Yes.
Right? But as a person, how has that changed you?
As a person, I think I'm confident. I was confident. I'm maybe a little more confident. I've become more humble. Then I used to throw a lot of tantrums. Now I don't.
So you were humble, so you became more humble. You were confident, you became more confident, right? You were responsible, you became
more.
You were already strong.
I was already very strong.
And this 100 crores just made you stronger.
Further stronger. And I've become more generous.
So you were already generous, by the way.
Yeah.
मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ. In those days when she used to make only 1.25 lakhs a month, हम लोग मंदिर जाते थे लक्ष्मी जी के और वहाँ पे पैसे डालने होते थे डब्बे में. तो मैं जितना सोचता था ये उससे डबल ही देती थी हमेशा. Like उन those days like I used to think ये अभी 100 डालेगी थी 500 डाल देती थी. फिर जब मैं सोचता था 500 डालेगी 1000 डाल देती थी. So she was always very generous, and the more money only made her more generous. She was always very caring. This more 100 crores just made her more caring. So what I'm trying to communicate to you is money doesn't make you. It simply reveals who you already are and just multiplies you again. Because that's your that who you are as an emotional pattern is what you get multiplied by.
In fact, our friend Money, again her name is also Money. So Money says that money made you both much more humble, much more easy to get along, much more generous. That's what she says.
Yeah, because it just multiplied who we are.
She says that you there are people who go bad with money, but you guys have become much better with money.
Yeah. So the reason I'm asking this, tell people about those who are right now looking at this 100 crore number and thinking, Mera kab hoga? When will I reach 100 crores? How important is to feel that emotion of desperation, that hunger of 100 crores? How important is it?
No, desperation is not important. Because desperation से कुछ नहीं होगा. Desperation से अभी आपको बीपी हो जाएगा, स्ट्रेस हो जाएगा, एंजाइटी हो जाएगी और जो करंट मोमेंट है वो जीने नहीं मिलेगा.
Live for today.
हाँ, my suggestion will be live right now, live for today, live the way it is. Enjoy the money you're making already, because you are definitely, as you were say in one of the programs, that if you can go and have a pani puri every day, or you can take your kids out for ice cream, you're rich. Yeah. They don't need gold ka ice cream. They need normal ice cream only. Yeah. They just need a ride outside maybe. So if you can do that, you're rich. If you can enjoy. I mean, I remember shopping into a normal outlet to little branded to now maybe
whatever craziness we do today.
Whatever craziness we do today. But yeah, that is every time it was just I enjoyed everything. I also remember me and my schoolmate going and shopping in Nagpur. Na, you get those cut pieces on the roadside. I remember very nicely. I and my friend went, bought 3 cut pieces, went to the tailor, got dresses stitched. I remember doing that also very happily.
So I want you to see a pattern here. With mom's case, mom was going through mental issues, divorce. Again, her divorce case was going on. Each of these cases, and then later her mom went through cancer. Each of these cases was difficult. She kept using the word, it was difficult. But every time I ask her, was it a trauma? Right. She says, no, there was no trauma. Even the divorce that she says, it was difficult, but there was no trauma.
There's no trauma.
Why no trauma about it? Like, what got you through that phase?
I think ये मेरा pattern नहीं है मितेश कि मैं किसी चीज को पकड़ के बैठूं.
हाँ, that's what I'm saying.
ये मेरा pattern नहीं है. मैं किसी भी चीज को ऐसे पकड़
के नहीं बैठता. ये क्यों हुआ?
ये क्यों हुआ? मेरे साथ क्यों हुआ? Why me? ऐसे
तो ये pattern नहीं है. तो है क्या pattern?
Acceptance. I think my pattern is acceptance.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. I think my acceptance for people is very high.
Very high.
And I realized this lately only. I think you only made me realize. My acceptance for people, for friends, I have all types of friends, and my acceptance for everyone is very, very high.
Wow. So that's what 100 crore lady sounds like, looks like, hears like. And what I want you to know, it's not like she doesn't have problems from I mean, there are health challenges that we haven't spoken about today. There are relationship issues that we spoke about. Career problems were there, marriage problems were there, parents' problems were there. All of that was there. It has only made her stronger because of who she is as a frequency. So if you had to say what life is like today, what would you say?
Life is perfect.
And if you had to say life was 10 years ago?
Then also it was good. I had a lot of fun.
And when you were getting your first salary, 800 rupees a month?
Oh, that was also good.
See?
Samosa and Coke party.
See, and you keep talking about the samosa and the Coke. Like she remembers the samosa and the Coke more than she remembers my holiday that I took her to London recently. आधा टाइम तो समोसा और कोक ही याद आ रहा था. मुझे कभी-कभी लगता है मैं वही खिलाने ले जाता हूँ उसको छुट्टी के लिए यूके भी ले जाता next time.
I'm not taking name, but my friend sitting in Thane, I'm sure he can relate. We both used to go out for samosa.
Amazing. So emotionally, what kind of a person are you today? What are the emotions that you live by from the time you wake up till the time you sleep? If you had to name 5 emotions, what 5 emotions do you live with?
I live with one, of course, I am grateful for almost anything and everything. Of course, thanks to Sahil and a lot of other coaches and you also. Second emotion is I'm happy, I'm satisfied.
Satisfied.
I think happy-go-lucky because I connect with my friends, I talk to my friends. I talk to my friends almost every day.
I think again, acceptance as an emotion you do practice every day.
Acceptance, yeah, maybe. And I'm workaholic.
So busy. Busy is a feeling she always has. Holiday pe busy, kaam pe busy.
Yeah, you can say that.
Awesome. So if I had to ask you one last question about your belief about life, what is life?
I think life is very good. I really don't like to say that life is a struggle. Life is this. No. Life is fine. Life is perfect the way it is. As Niteshanti says, there are no mistakes in the universe. So life is perfect.
Beautiful. So there are no mistakes in the universe. I hope this long interview of Indu helps some of you become more successful than we are today. Because it's not about what we have. It's about who we are.
Yep.
Because who we are makes us what we have. It's not the other way around. A lot of people have been messaging us saying, I want to have what Indu ma'am has. And I say, before you have what Indu ma'am has, become who she is first. And the more you become this kind of a person, this kind of success is very easy. So I want to say this on record. I don't think I've said it many times. I think I've said it many times, but not enough. I love you the way you are. You're just the best person I've met in my life. And you've made me who I am. So thank you. Thank you for all the love and the 100 crores.
Thank you.
Thank you for that also. Thank you for all the success. Thank you for all the acceptance that you've given to an imperfect person like me. And I think next lifetime, I don't mind again. Shadi, same shadi. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We love you all. Thank you so much for watching us till the end over here. If you liked this video and if you think some of your friends can benefit from this podcast, please share this video with at least 3 of your friends. Subscribe, like the channel. I'll see you soon in the next podcast.
And hit the bell icon.
Hit the bell icon.
See, I remember.
Thank you.